this week, Man United played Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup and won comfortably. Ten Hag debuted a new system, with Amrabat starting at left back but inverting to play alongside Casemiro in the midfield when United had the ball, and for the most part, this worked really well. United were able to play some controlled, fluid football for once, and put 3 past Crystal Palace to advance in the cup. However, there were some major caveats with this performance, mainly that Crystal Palace played a really conservative game and weren't pressing United as they should have been, because quite frankly, United have had no answer for high-pressing teams this season. And either Roy Hodgson was watching my last video where I addressed this, or United's weaknesses are just that apparent to everyone else, because when these two teams faced off again in the Premier League a few days later, Crystal Palace were ready. Both teams made wholesale changes to their starting lineups for midweek, but that wasn't what determined this game. United again tried to play in their 3-2-5 shape with the Amrabat and Casemiro duo in midfield, only this time, Crystal Palace weren't dropping off into their 2 banks of 4. They were intent on stepping forward to disrupt United high up the field, and this simple tactical tweak completely exposed United. From the start of the game, United began with Amrabat shifting into midfield with Casemiro, and even Mount would sometimes drop in to form a more traditional midfield 3. Palace, however, had no respect for United's intentions and were committing heavy numbers forward to set traps, which United would walk straight into. As Lindelof plays the ball forward to Mount, 3 Palace players are quick to converge on him and force him to pass it back. And they wanted Mount to do this, as they had positioned Ayew to press Lindelof before the ball was even played to him. So when Lindelof gets it, Ayew is already on him and has cut off any passing angles to the left, forcing Lindelof to play it square to Varane, which is only another trap, as Schlupp is sprinting towards Varane before the ball has even left Lindelof's foot. So as soon as Varane gets it, he's immediately closed down and is forced to play a hurried pass across the field on his weak foot, which again has already been anticipated by Palace, allowing them to win the ball back. So predictable. And this trend continued, this time starting from a United throw-in. Palace have again committed over half their players into United's defensive third, as they know they can force an easy turnover. Dalot throws the ball into Bruno, who is closed down quickly, but that doesn't excuse him from his lack of awareness in this situation. Mason Mount is wide open in the middle of the field, and should he find him, Mount could turn, carry the ball forward, and completely bypass a 6-man Palace press to create an opportunity for United to attack in transition. Instead, Bruno panics and shoots it forward towards Højlund, who tries to give it back to Bruno, again ignoring Mount in the middle, but Højlund's pass is short and Palace can recover. Palace work the ball wide and whip in a cross, which is dealt with by Varane as the rebound falls to Casemiro, who again is being instantly converged upon. He plays it back to Dalot, essentially cornering him. Dalot has no choice but to return the ball back to Casemiro, however, that is well read and intercepted. Palace try to recycle the ball, but this is actually well read by Pellistri, who makes a good tackle as the rebound falls to Casemiro. Now here, United have the opportunity to work the ball back and around to Rashford, who is on acres of space and could launch a counter-attack. But again, United choose to blast the ball towards Højlund, who loses the 50-50. Palace come again, as Doucouré feeds Mateta, who despite being surrounded by red shirts, can easily turn, take the ball wide, and drill in a cross, which is well intercepted by Mount. Mount is instantly closed down, and does well to find Rashford, who plays it to Casemiro. And now for the 3rd time in this sequence of play, United have the opportunity to bypass Palace's pressure and launch a counter-attack. But the ball rolls under Casemiro's foot. The ball is eventually worked wide to Ayew, who is brought down by Amrabat. Now, you might be wondering why this one bad passage of play from United was such an area of focus. Well, the resulting free kick found its way to Anderson, in the middle of 4 statues, as he unleashed a rocket into the top corner, putting Palace ahead off of their first shot on target. From here, United only had one real strategy to get back into the game, and it's the same and only attacking strategy that they've really displayed all season. Get the ball wide to Rashford and see what he can do. The problem with this is that it's very easy for the opposition to overload and isolate one player, despite how talented that one individual may be. Rashford gets the ball in a wide position here and is instantly closed down by Ward, with Ayew sprinting back to help him. Ayew here has effectively closed off any passing angles for Rashford to play it backwards towards Bruno, so his only options in the box are a teeny tiny Mason Mount positioned between two centre backs or Højlund. But quite frankly, there are 3 Palace defenders between Rashford and Højlund, so I wouldn't say he's particularly open here. Again, United work it to Rashford on the left, who is instantly pressured by 2 defenders. His only options in this situation include Casemiro, who is hiding behind the 2 players marking Rashford. Eze is behind him, preventing Rashford from cutting back onto his right foot and also closing any passing lane to Amrabat. So if Rashford were to defy the odds of the 2v1 he's been left in, and could possibly whip in a cross, there are 5 Palace defenders in the box and 3 United forwards, which isn't a really favourable picture for a team losing at home in need of a goal. With all that being said, United's best chance of the game perhaps did come from this force the ball to Rashford and pray tactic. Bruno swings the ball wide to Rashford and Ward defends it with his outstretched hand.
What?
And as the ref decided against awarding a penalty without the use of a 20-minute VAR review, I fully expect that we too will be receiving an apology citing significant human error. Pfft, what a joke. In all seriousness though, VAR was not the reason we lost this match. We again conceded a cheap goal, were sloppy in possession, and unimaginative in attack. Perhaps this could be best summarized by United hoarding nearly 80% of the possession in this match and only managing to register 4 shots on target. In all competitions this season, we've played 9 games, won 4, and lost 5. So with that, I think it's time that the manager reevaluates the setup of his team. I understand that this system he's trying to implement brought him great success at Ajax, and nearly got them to a Champions League final. But that team he had the personnel to play this system. We do not. Sure, we've made some signings over the summer, but to say they've been unimpactful would be an understatement. Ten Hag should look to be more humble in his setup, and instead of playing this cute 3-2-5 system with fullbacks in midfield, it's time to accept that this team is a mid-table side in terms of talent, bar a few individuals, and the system should reflect that. United should look to play a more rigid 4-2-3-1 system with more traditional fullbacks and 2 defensive-minded midfield players in order to maximize the protection of the back 4. The main focus has to be to prevent conceding goals. Making this team harder to play against will serve United better than playing this predictable transition ball to Rashford with an exposed defense. I do support Ten Hag's idea of having the wingers, or should I say winger, be the focal point of the attack, because quite frankly, the next best attacking options in the squad are questionable at best. However, if we are going to put such an emphasis on our wide players, we should also pair them with an overlapping fullback to prevent them from getting isolated. After all, every great winger of the modern generation has had a great attacking fullback alongside him. As our fall from grace continues, we need to accept the situation we are in and focus on remastering the basics, such as running, tackling, taking a good first touch, precise passing, movement off the ball, and so on, before trying to implement a new trendy style of play. Taking a step backwards to emphasize these issues could help United steal a result against Galatasaray on Tuesday, because otherwise, we could be looking at an early Champions League exit.